So, ladies and gentlemen, we are starting today with 1-5, okay? Topic 1-5. So you will write the date, whatever the date is that you actually take the notes, okay? Topic 1-5, okay? So we will always begin with our essential question. Essential question. That's the question we need to keep in our head the whole time we're working in this lesson, which is, how can I compare decimals? How can I compare decimals? Okay, so our little word problem that we're going to be working with today is right there. Okay, you're going to need to copy this in your notes in a little box in this space. Okay, so go ahead, pause the video, write it all down, then come back. Hi. Okay, so I'm going to read this. I'm going to highlight the important bits. Okay, so it says the length of 3 different types of ants were found. The lengths were 0.521, I'm doing that on purpose, centimeters, cm stands for centimeters, 0.498 centimeters, and 0.550 centimeters. Which ant was the longest? Which was the shortest? So let's pull out the important bits. So we've got this length here, we've got this length here, and this length here. Okay, so this is what we are comparing. Okay, but we have 2 questions we need to answer. We need to know which one's the longest and which one's the shortest. Okay, so we have analyzed it, remember, from our power words, right? We're analyzing. I'm just going to glue it down. This is what you would do if you were in class with me. Okay, dot, dot, not a lot. And put it there. Okay, now that we have analyzed it, we're going to break it down. We're going to use that brace map and pull over those important bits so that it's easier to see it all in a list. Okay, so create that brace map. Okay, so the first question that we need to be remembering that we are answering is, which ant was the longest? Okay. If we were here in class together, we would stop it right here and have to put was the longest underneath, because we've turned these into 3-column notes. We're not doing that right now. We may do it later in this trimester, but for right now, just go ahead and use the whole rest of that page. Okay, the second question, which was the shortest? Okay, so our first length is 0.521 centimeters. Our next one is 0.498 centimeters, and our next one is 0.550 centimeters. Okay, so then I'm going to create a sentence frame so that I remember exactly what it is that I'm trying to figure out here, that final question, because a lot of times we do a lot of math, lots of steps, and then we give the wrong answer because we forgot what the question was. Okay, so the first sentence frame would be, the ant was the longest. Okay, the next one is the ant was the shortest. Now, if these ants had names, then you would put the name in that spot. But they don't. We're just using their length, how long they are, as their name. So one of these lengths is going to go here, one of these lengths is going to go there. So now I'm going to build a place value chart. Look at that. There's the one I gave you, right? But I'm still going to rewrite it so I can fit those 3 measurements in it. Now, if you want to use this with your whiteboard for practice, please do. That's what it's for. But I'm going to, in my notes, create the same thing. Okay, so we're going to start with the ones column. Okay, then we're going to have the decimal part. Okay, and then we're going to have, I'm going to have to write it crooked. I did this on the previous ones because I don't want it to be too big going out that way. So I'm going to have, there's the ones, and I have 3 different measurements I'm comparing. So I need 3 lines, right? There's where my decimal goes. The first digit after the decimal, you should be getting familiar with this. This should sound familiar. You should know this by now. This is what we keep saying over and over and over, right? This is the tenths place. This is the hundredths. That sounds awful, right? Hundredths place. And the last one that we're working with is the thousandths place. Okay? So we've got our ones, where our decimal goes, our tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Okay? So I'm going to look at my measurements here in the brace map. And I'm going to look at that first column, first word, or first number, first digit for each one, 5, 4, and 4. Well, what's the smallest number between those? The 4, right? So we're going to put that in our chart. This is obviously the smallest one because it starts with the smallest number. Okay, so 0.498. Okay, so I finished that one. Now I have 2 5s. I have to decide which one is smaller. Because remember, we're going from the smallest to the greatest. So I already noticed this one has a 5 and this one has a 5. So now I need to look at the second digit in each one. Which number is smaller, a 2 or a 5? The 2 is smaller. Okay, so this one is going to go next. This smaller measurement. 0.521. Okay? And so we're finished with that one. So that tells us that that's the next one. Okay, so you're going to fill it in just like you have been. And now you can answer the final 2 questions, right? You've got the sentence frame ready. So the at was the longest. Well, I just put it in here, shortest to longest. So this number is what goes in that sentence frame. The 550,000ths centimeter ant was the longest. Now I need to fill in the shortest. That would be the first one. 498,000ths of a centimeter ant was the shortest. So ladies and gentlemen, when you compare decimals, you have to stack them up like we did here and compare each digit. Okay, now if in the homework or classwork, we might be practicing this also in class, gives you 3 numbers and says list them from least to greatest, or smallest to largest, or whatever the verb is, or I'm sorry, not the verb, the verbology, the words that they're using, you have to stack them up and decide. You compare that first digit, and then you have to go to the next digit. Okay? Now, there is a possibility that one of the numbers would be a fraction, in which case, convert, just like we've been practicing, convert that fraction to a decimal, and then you still stack them up and compare. Okay? So, finish writing all of this, and then you're done with these notes.